Hey, I thought I'd try something different. Maybe just try a movie review. I have no idea if this will really work out. I don't know. Just saw Mortal Kombat, and this is going to be very spoilery. So, well, basically, if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat, you're probably gonna like this. If not, you're not gonna know what the hell is going on. Uh, we're gonna. Basically, for starters, is well, my mom's out of town. I really wanted popcorn, but we have problems with the stove, and as much as I love popcorn, I also love just not being on fire more. In fact, I love not being on fire. I think I can be not on fire every day. I just the movie's pretty bloody. It's oh god. Hold on. We start out seeing Scorpion's origin. Basically, Sub-Zero kills him and his family, but oh, well, no, his family hid his baby under the under the floorboards of his house. I'm not good at this. Raiden comes, it's like, yeah, you think, like, saves the baby, although apparently, for some weird reason in Mortal Kombat, Raiden's not allowed to help people, and, we're introduced to this new character made just for the movie called Cole. He's like this, I don't know, underground MMA fighter guy. And then it's like, Jax finds him and it's like he has this birthmark and it looks like the Mortal Kombat symbol. And it's like, you gotta come with us. Gotta come with us. Like, there's these assholes coming after you. Assholes like Sub-Zero shows up. Jack says, dude, get out. Dude, like, you gotta get out of here. Take your family somewhere safe and find Sonya Blade. So he fights Scorpion, and Scorpion, and if you know Jax, he's gonna get metal arms, so Sub-Zero freezes, and this is gonna be kind of a problem with this, and this is gonna lead to an issue in a few minutes, but I'll explain. But Sub-Zero freezes his arms and, breaks them off, which was pretty brutal, though kind of clearly CGI. And so Cole goes to see Sonya, and it's like, oh, you have this marking, and like, warriors throughout generations have this marking. It means you're a chosen warrior, and you have powers, but you gotta figure out how to use them. It's basically the Power Rangers movie all over again. Sonya doesn't have a marking for some reason. Oh yeah, she also has Kano locked up in her closet, and it's like, and he has a marking. Well, okay, we find out that if you kill a guy with a marking, you get the marking. Marking. I am not good at reviews. You're not gonna know what the hell I'm saying, what I'm talking about. I'm just ranting. And then Shang Tsung's basically, there's this whole prophecy if the tournament happens, basically the thing is if like Outworld, that's like the realm that's like, starting this Mortal Kombat thing, if they win 10 tournaments, it pretty much sends demons, warriors to just take over Earth and basically kill everyone and enslave and kill everyone. But they can only do this if they win 10 Mortal Kombats, and they've won 9. Although I don't know how the tournament's supposed to work. Like I'll get to it. 9, and one cool thing is, it's because this is an R rating, we actually get to see fatalities here, which is actually pretty awesome. We see Reptile comes like to fight Sonya Blade, Cole, and Kano, and Kano gets loose. He's actually and Kano's evil. He's Australian. He's pretty much this black, he's a criminal. He's like terrorist, black dragon, mercenary, kill his own mother for the right price kind of guy. But we get to see, in the first game, he has this heart rip out fatality. We actually get to see him use it, and get to see him use it on Reptile. This is pretty awesome. You're gonna see like lots of references here and pictures and stuff. Like you see Katana's fangs and Kotal Khan's helmet thingy. Again, you're not gonna know what the hell they mean. You're probably gonna get that must be probably gonna think, that must be a reference to something, but you're not gonna know. But you're not gonna know to what unless you play the games. So I think a lot of fans will appreciate that, or I don't know, or they'll just think they'll shoehorn in. So it's like they all get to the temple. We meet Liu Kang, and Shang Tsung tries to basically okay, let's kill these guys before the tournament starts. And we see some of Shang Tsung's guys, and this is actually kind of clever. At least I think. I don't know. A lot of them are pretty much no-name characters, like Nitara. She was in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and she was even a secret. And I realized, except for maybe Melina and maybe Cabal, they're kind of no-name characters, the characters that don't even know about. But I think I realized the reason is we need people to kill in this series, and we can't just kill them all because we want to do sequels, obviously. And so it turns out that Sonya's been looking for Raiden's temple all along, and this is pretty stupid when I realize it. All along, and Reptile burned all our stuff, and then Kano's I know where it is. It's what? What? But I'm not telling you. And basically, we bribes Kano, he lead us there, and we'll, you lead us, and okay, I know a lady with a plane, and they eventually get there. They go through the desert. We find out, and they meet up with Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Raiden. I just love I kind of dig how Raiden just, look at these chuckle nuts. They were just no. I asked for proof. Raiden's basically not impressed with any of them at all, and he's oh God, I asked for Bruce Lee and I get Jean-Claude Van Damme. He doesn't say that. That's my thing. Stupid thing. But it's he's pretty much we're doomed. And it's we find out that people people who have the Mortal Kombat mark have this hidden potential. In Liu Kang's case, he could do fireballs. Kung Lao, well, I guess the hat throwing thing, but I don't know. Hat throwing, I don't know. Shang Tsung shows up hey, I'm gonna kill all of you before you're ready, but, Raiden sets up a barrier thing so they can't get through. The rules don't make sense to me. Okay, is there a tournament? Doesn't this count? Isn't this interference? In the first movie called Christopher Lambert, the rules actually did sort of make sense. He tried to break the rules, but Shang Tsung tried to break the rules, but every time Raiden came in, it's I don't think so. I still love that movie. It's goofy as hell, but I still love that movie. And basically, okay, I need you to guys go into this tournament and just train your asses off and find your motivation or whatever to find your secret power. Like I said, Liu Kang is gonna shoot the fireballs things, and but Sonya tries to go and it's no, you don't have you kind of know what's gonna happen. You pretty much guess if you know Mortal Kombat, you know what's gonna happen. Kano has a mark. We find out early on that the only way you can get a mark, that you get a mark by killing another person who gets a mark, so you can pretty much guess how it's going to go down later, but for right now, it's you can't come in, you don't have a mark, you don't have a mark, you're going to be a liability, although we find out that's kind of bullshit. We're going to find out that's kind of bullshit later. Oh God, oh man, I hope Facebook will let me say that. It's hard. So they train, and they fight, 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 and it's and it's a cool thing. The first person we see to get his powers, of all people, Kano, because, they're sitting at dinner, it's pass me the egg roll, and it's they basically say, Kano, you're stupid, you're worthless, you're just some mongrel, and it's he just keeps getting more and more pissed off, and he shoots eye lasers, which, oh God, I forgot. Jax. Now, like I said, And this is what's really weird, because like I said, it looks like Sub-Zero, like, froze his arms and broke them off. And when they get to the temple, it's like, oh, here's Jack, still without arms. And it's like, and Liu Kang's like, oh, don't worry. He caught because he was frozen, it cauterized the wound, so he's not bleeding out. And we got these monk scientists, and we're going to build him metal arms. Here's the question. Okay, so we find out that Raiden can teleport everywhere and bring people. It's like, why did they have to go through the desert to find the temple? Why? If Jack is here, why didn't you do that? Because you say he's not supposed to interfere, then that's kind of interference. I mean, I guess the idea is he's not allowed to fight, basically. Raiden's not allowed to fight. So we bring him to the temple, and it's like, they build him metal arms, but they're kind of like dinky skeletal things, like the Terminator, but it's like, oh, I can't do this. This doesn't work. I can't fight like this. And Sonya's like, he's doing the whole, obviously it sounds better than I do, but oh, yes, you can. Okay, yeah, I can. And he's like, oh, yes, you can. Okay, yeah, I can. And, this may shock you, all the Mortal Kombat fans out there. This may horrify you, but Kano betrays them. We find out that in, like, Shank, one of the same Shank's guys is Cabal, who knew Kano or betrayed him. Basically, Kano messed up. I actually like Cabal. He has a few things like, yes, hey, look at you. You used to be a fighter. Now you are nothing. I used to respect you. He has that sort of accent, and it's kind of funny. And basically, he goes down the portal and say, hey, Kano, like, they don't like each other, but basically, Cabal's is basically like, if you join us, we'll reward you. We'll give you pretty much everything you want. Everything you want if you just take down this shield. And Kano's like, okay, I'm horrible. I'll do it. And he takes down the shield, and that's when we get some pretty fights, awesome fights. Like, oh, I forgot to mention, before this happened, Cole's the one who's having trouble, and Raiden's like, dude, you're worthless. Here's the thing we find out. Cole is actually the prequel was actually set in the 1600s. Cole is a descendant of Hanzo, also known as Scorpion. And, he basically, that all happened in the 1600s, but, had babies, and he's like this current generation. He was hoping that, like, and Raiden was hoping, like, oh, hey, Hanzo was like one of the greatest ninja warriors of all time. Something, but no, you don't have powers, you can't figure it out. So, it is kind of implied that Raiden's sort of like doing that whole, I need to find the right motivation. So, like, here, I'm sending you home, sending you back to your wife or sister, or I don't know who those. I'm sending you back to your family. And that's in, yeah, then the portal goes down, but Goro shows, and, like, we get some pretty awesome fights, but it's clear, like, the good guys are getting their butts kicked. But one cool thing is, like, how Nitara dies, Kung Lao gets it, and it's like, she's like this vampire thing with wings, and it's like, she dives down, Kung Lao manages to stand on her back, but we get stand on her back, he does that really brutal fatality where, he slices someone in half throws his hat on the ground, and it spins like a buzzsaw. And he sort of, like, gets on Nitara, and she just throws her right through the hat. And it's gross and awesome, and it's like, he says, flawless victory. And I was like, and actually, unlike the very first movie, when they said flawless victory, and it's like, no, that wasn't a flawless victory. It's only a flawless victory if you manage to beat the opponent with no hits. And in that movie, like, whenever they say it, no, that wasn't okay, the first flawless, they got hits in. they got hits in. This was actually a flawless victory. She didn't hit Kung Lao at all. That was a flawless victory and a fatality. And of course, now we have to get, and we find out that, well, Cole's at home. Goro, that's the big four-armed dragon. He comes in, and I feel like he's kind of wasted in this movie, although it's again, I think there's some implications, so I think like if there's a sequel, he'll come back. And the fight's pretty cool. He tries to like, just lure him out, but it's clear he's pretty damn outmatched, and this is and of course this is the scene where, oh, we're finally discovering our powers. And like basically Cole gets this golden armor with like tonfons, like, or whatever that kind of things are. I don't know. Like he kills Goro. He slices him open, guts fall out. He cuts off his arm, stabs him in the eyes, and I'm like, wait, this is how Goro goes down? He's one of like the big. No, but again, it kind of implies at the end that they're probably going to get resurrected. And like I said, and back at the temple, Kung Lao actually dies. He gets his soul sucked by Shang Tsung, and that really depresses Liu Kang. And Raiden's actually able to get him out of there. Like, why didn't you again, you don't explain this. Why didn't you bail? Because he sends us to this, like, void between dimensions for safety, and I'm like, why didn't you do that in the first place? Like, why, the instant they broke in, why didn't you gather, what the hell? Like, that's the problem. The screenplay is not very good. If we get a sequel, and hopefully we will, because I did like this movie. I think it was a lot of fun. But I'm hoping you'll explain these things a bit better. And, they're all together. Yeah, and like, we see Jax gaining his powers, and it's like, I don't know how this works, but apparently, like I said, the metal arms are like very skeletal, but all of a sudden, like, all these parts just grow on him, making him look like the arms he has in the games, and it's like, what the hell? Oh, and okay, and now they're in this, and he's able to like save Sonya because she had a rock fall on her or something, and so and to talk, Cole's like, okay, we gotta like fight them smarter. Okay, Raiden, you can teleport us to places. Like, again, if you could do this, why didn't you do it? Okay, we'll choose our targets. We'll fight one on one. Like Cole will take on Melina. Jax will take on Raiko, who's that big dude with the hammer and one of the lesser known Mortal Kombat guys. So we can kill him easy and not have to worry about it. And Liu Kang will take on Cabal. Sonya will kill Kano, and we'll save Sub-Zero for last because he's clearly the strongest, and we're gonna have to all team up against him later. So they do that, and Jax is one of the most awesome but kind of disappointing. He's the shortest fight, and it's over like the pit stage, but it's clearly like based off the pit stage, and I'm like, oh cool, we're gonna see Jax uppercut him and throw him in the pit, and it's like, and there's a fight, and no, instead he does his head crush fatality, which admittedly awesome. It's like, I like these arms, but why would you put it? But seriously, then why would you put him on the pit stage? When I see the pit stage, it's clearly the pit stage where you're on a bridge, and like, I expect to see someone fall off the pit and get impaled with spikes or buzzsaws or whatever. Well, but still, the head crushing is cool and all, but I don't get it. And Sonya fights Kano. It's a cool fight. She buzzes him. It's like, he thinks, Kano's cocky because like, hey, I got eye lasers. You can't beat me. And yeah, of course, she beats him. She gets him in the eye. And yeah, and like I said, she gets the mark and instantly gets her power. I don't know how that works and she gets that little ring beam thing. So, because she goes to Raiden teleports her to where Cole and Liu Kang is, where Cole's having trouble with Melina because Melina has like the glass globe grin. We see all the teeth. I don't know how they're gonna fit Catan. No, actually learning how Melina works. It's weird. She's like a clone stock from. I'm not getting into that right now. Go wiki it. And and Sonya has the ring power, and she's like, pshoo, 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 and she blows a hole right through Melina, so she's dead. Liu Kang eventually kills Cabal, which is cool. We get to see like something of a variation of that his fatality for Mortal Kombat 2 onwards, where he turns into a dragon and well, of course, in this case, it's made of fire, so yeah, we do get the bite, but instead it's like, he burns to death. And, unfortunately, now Clutch's family find out how Sub-Zero's kidnapped his wife and daughter, and now plans change, and Cole just, I don't know, runs through the portal. Unfortunately, they're all left behind, so now Cole has to fight Sub-Zero alone. And he's not doing too hot, he's got, it's like he's still green, he's not potential, but then, and it looks like Sub-Zero's gonna win. It's kind of, but then, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you ever feel like you should be angry at a scene for not making sense, yet it's so awesome you don't really care? Well, this is what happened. Scorpion, in full mask and regalia, just puts his hook through Sub-Zero and he says, "Get over here!" And it's awesome. We see here a variation of the Mortal Kombat theme. And we see Cole and Scorpion team up. It's really awesome. And eventually, they take down Sub-Zero. Scorpion's tells Cole, "Oh, go save your family. I got this." And he does the fatality. Well, it's kind of does the whole skull fatality thing. I'm gonna burn you alive. Although it's a little different in this thing. In the games, it's almost like he pulls off his head skin and revealing a skull and sets you on fire. Here, it's just he breathes fire on him, and then we just see pieces of It's cool looking. And then as he breathes fire on him, blows fire on him, we see the bottom part of his skull, and that's it. He says, "You freed my soul." Don't know how that worked. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. It's definitely a more serious. So everyone, Raiden, why didn't you bring these people here? And apparently that fight was the I don't know if that was the tournament or did we win the tournament? I mean, there's probably going to be more on it. Well, anyway, he says Shang Tsung's "Oh, this isn't over yet," and we see these little shadow puppets go over a few of the warriors, implying he says something death is just another portal or just another dimension or something, and it's we see this black smoke take their corpses away, implying that they're gonna come back for the sequel or something. And Raiden said, so it's over, and Raiden says, "Yeah, there's going to be more threats," obviously setting up for the sequel, and setting up for a sequel, and we gotta find more warriors, and last scene we see is Cole, he quits the MMA thing, and he's heading off to Hollywood to find Johnny Cage, and the movie ends there. I enjoyed it. I thought it stayed very true to the lore. But the thing is, if you're not really a fan of Mortal Kombat, I really don't see you enjoying this, because, there's, tons of nods and winks. What this felt like was, well, one thing I liked, it was short. I can't remember the last time I saw, this was, just over 90 minutes, and that was actually kind of nice. I can't remember the last time I saw a short movie. I think the problem is, the screenplay, there's why can't Raiden just teleport all of them to the temple, basically? Screenplay definitely needed work. Fights were awesome. They were brutal. We have an R rating, so we don't have to worry about pandering to kids. And it stays very true to the lore. If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat, there's tons of little nods and winks there. The characters are likable. Cole's pretty bland, I gotta say. He's just "Oh, I gotta protect my family." That's it's that same kind of protagonist you've seen a billion times before. But I hope there's a sequel. See, that's the thing. This movie feels more like a 90-minute prequel, a 90-minute almost kind of a 90-minute setup. This is what makes me hope the sequel now. But the good news is okay, now you know how this world works, sort of, and you met all these characters, so when the sequel comes around, you'll go. So basically, but yeah, if you're not a fan of Mortal Kombat, you're just gonna be, well, okay. If you like fights, there's some great fights here. So I enjoyed it. I hope there's a sequel, and I hope you liked my massively spoilery review. All right.